Branding is actually that what you with your business are willing to represent. What is the reputation? And that's not the short term, but that is like a long term vision is what is the reputation? Welcome to the Alchemy of Success coffee break. And in today's episode, what is the fifth in a row, regarding how to shift from employee to a business owner. We're going to talk about a topic where, when you start searching outside, some people will say that's maybe not so important at this stage of building a business, but from our personal experience, it's actually the right way to do it. We're going to talk about building your brand. And the interesting part is that Pedro and I are currently into a process of building a brand of a company we are launching and working with an amazing experts. But in this episode, we won't just give you the tips or core why to build a brand before starting creating your products or services is even more powerful than to do it the other way around. But also what are possible ways or different tools and tips how you can do it depending on the financial possibility you're currently having, right? So stay till the end of the episodes because at the end, we're going to give you a very smart and a fast strategy how you can build your brand strategy from at home without costing you a penny or with a very small investment. Before we go into the topic, why branding before actually building your product or service suite is, from our perspective or experience, more important is I'd like to ask Pedro, when he launched his business, did you first start it with the services and products, or did you focus first on the brand? And let me know now with the experience that you already have, what would you say is the best way and why?
Absolutely. So essentially for me, it was really more about what do I represent? What is my company representing? So I would say the branding,
Mm-hmm.
which is the whole reason why we came up with the name of the company to begin with. So the name of the company sort of dictates exactly what people already think about me and my company as soon as they hear the name of the company,
Mm-hmm.
which is Heal Thyself First. Because the branding for my company and everything that we do, all the services and any expansion that we're going to do going forward, is going to be everything about how we help people go into themselves, seeing themselves, helping themselves, and then how they can grow and expand and do whatever they want to do, accomplish any goals they want to, but starting with themselves first. So I think the branding is really important because it identifies you, who you actually are. So I started with that.
Okay, so you definitely start. Did you do it by yourself, kind of like intuitively, or did you work with an expert?
By myself.
Okay.
I did everything myself. I did my own website. I did everything, the ad copy. I did everything myself. So
Okay, perfect. And now, as we both are going and working with an expert in this direction, would you say that this is kind of even a better way to do it?
yeah, absolutely. It just make sure that you have the funds for it. Once again, if you think you're making this move, try to make sure that you have some funds allocated because you will be having expenses towards building your organization correctly. And you don't have to do everything yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree 100%. Hire somebody.
Perfect. I'd like to tell you why I think branding is more important before starting creating the services and the products is because I used to think that branding is, the fancy logo, the website, the all the all elements and whatsoever. So you place your newsletter, whatever, but that's not branding. That's just tiny piece out of the branding. Branding is actually that what you with your business are willing to represent? What is the reputation? And that's not the short term, but that is like a long term vision is what is the reputation you as an owner of your company and you with this business you're willing to start are willing to represent. And that includes multiply levels. The reputation is kind of overall because reputation is not what we want people to think about ourselves, but it's actually how people perceive us. So we can think we are the best, but the people can think that we are very, very bad or we are not delivering what we are promising and so on. So into the branding, in the core, it's starting always with, what are the values of your company, of yourself. And that's always internal and external. Even if you are a solopreneur and not currently thinking of having employees, still you need to have this, internal values. How is the work done? How it's internal created, and also how is your external communication. It comes also with the brand promise. So that means, like we say, I'm going to take an example, Apple, and it shouldn't be in any shape or form like an advertise. But I think Apple, for me, is one of the company that were able to really embody the brand. So they started always with why. Why do we create these products? And they don't start with, okay, we are creating an amazing product that delivers this and this and this functionality and all around the technique, but they create this feeling of we're giving you a tool to support you in your day-to-day life. We're giving you a tool to capture the most beautiful moments with your family. So Apple speaks to your emotions. And that is what brand is about. The brand is the base for you. Is what emotion do you create in the people that are touching with you, that are getting in touch with you, that are interacting with your future services and products. So it's really defining this feeling, but also the promises that you are giving. And Apple never talk about that it's gonna be highest technology, whatever, but it's talking always about easy to integrate, easy to use, whatsoever. And that's what people looks. And it's also this kind of luxury segment. So it feels like high quality. It feels like, okay, you worth yourself or you deserve a good product when you use their products. So that's why starting with a brand is very important. And like I said, the logo and the colors and the website, it's still a part, but that is kind of more of the outcome after you have defined the branding and less about something to start with. Because my back there, not to say failure, I wasn't experienced in this direction, is I kind of started thinking, okay, what would be the logo? What will be, instead of what would be the message? What are the people, what do I want the people to feel, think of me or of my company when they encounter the products? And like Pedro just said, and I mentioned at the beginning, we're currently using or working with an expert in this direction. And it's a company that have the strategic view, but also the very creative and very expression way. So amazing one, and it's very funny and it's enjoyable because the question we are getting or the things that they made us think of, sometimes we're not so able. And that is why Pedro said that if you decide to go with a brand expert, you definitely should allocate finances aside. But I can tell you the investment that you're going to do by creating the brand from the beginning will pay off later because you will communicate the best way with your potential clients, because the message that you're going to deliver will reach exactly those clients that we identified in the previous episodes, your raving fans, your niche, because you're going to speak their language. And all the products you're going to create will be created around the branding, around your reputation. And Pedro, I know that you have worked with a lot of big startups companies. How was your experience there with the brand they have created? Or let we say, what would you say from your perception, the role of the brand has an influence towards the clients to decide to buy and to go with you on their journey?
Absolutely. So depending on the brand that was defined or created, it really dictates exactly the customers you're going after. So if you're a high-end product, then you're going to go to high-end clients. So therefore, different sides of the pool. If you are really more of mass consumption, then it's more of a middle type of branding that's appealing to the masses, if you will. So it really dictates exactly the type of customer you will have and how the customer thinks and how they feel, where they're going to be interacting. All these different questions around the customer that you are going to be acquiring is exactly where the brand's got to sort of dictate and influence. So it does make you think a lot. It did make you, for the companies that I was working for, it did make us sort of figure out, okay, what avenues are we allocating our advertising dollars? How are we projecting ourselves? What are the conferences we need to be attending? What are the speaker engagements? How do we promote ourselves to the clients? And what are the case studies? What do they need to look like? All these different factors are literally rolling up into exactly what we're trying to portray ourselves to be.
And how big was the influence by creating the product suites? So the
Well,
products and the services.
the product basically delivering on the brand promises.
Mm-hmm.
So really it's more, okay, we said we're all of this, we're doing all of this. So we have to make sure that the product sort of delivers to what we actually are saying it can do
Mm-hmm.
based on how we see ourselves and what the clients perceive us to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it basically, the products have to be in line with that.
So that means you say that if we don't have a brand at the beginning and we start directly with the products, we can maybe, instead of having this laser focus, because we know how powerful a laser is, we'll be like the how do you say it, the light bulb. So that means you try to cover everybody. And we know from experience, when you try to cover everybody, you cannot speak the language in everybody. So laser focus is that what actually brings the clients. And later, of course, you can always expand but still stay in the brand area.
And not only that, but it's also a very expensive process to not do that. So imagine you're going down one path and you're not really down that path, meaning that product that you're delivering, what you embody, what you're trying to portray, is not exactly who you're targeting. Then you're spending all this time and all these dollars and all these resources allocated to something that's not going to be that beneficial from a return perspective. So it's really important to understand who are you basically first. Like we said in the previous episodes, we go down through that methodology. And then ultimately, what are we trying to sell? Who is going to be our customers? But therefore, the branding dictating all of that. And then you figure out, okay, it's a product that I was thinking, does it deliver against what I'm trying to build?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to tweak it. So you have to
Okay.
modify it. You have to scratch it altogether.
So does it really brings us also the reputation? Of course, because if you say high quality products for, like we say, entrepreneurs, and you start selling something for very cheap price, it doesn't match the brand promises. So, right?
But the reputation, I think, the reputation for me actually comes after you deliver. So the reputation is built on actual production, actual delivery of what you can actually put out there in the market, and is it a good product? So the reputation comes after it. But as far as thinking about it long term, yes, I would say that that is the case. But the actual influence of how they perceive us to be is how do we deliver against our promises.
Of course. And yet I think it still have also with the way of communication because if I had the experience that I encounter companies that were saying that they are high level companies, but when I look at their products or their communication, okay, this communication is not laser focused. It's not actually speaking to this level of clients. So there was a mismatch between, what they tried to create a reputation, but what kind of products or services they brought on the market. So kind of like they try to be here, but they put the products that really devaluate that what they are saying. So the question is, are they not able to deliver or create these products, or they were just too scary and that's why they decided to scale down? But then in the mind of the clients, it looks like, okay, there is a mismatch between the reputation you're trying. So imagine Apple, let me take the example again, and suddenly instead of this very simple and very in a very clean design, start delivering something that is really cheap with going back with the old way of mobile phones or whatsoever. So there wasn't this innovative company. So what they're gonna speak in their on their websites or their products and what they're gonna deliver will be complete mismatch, right?
Mhm. Right.
Perfect. So I think you understood how important it is to start with the branding before you start creating your product or service packages. And we want to give you, of course, at the end, a powerful tool, a powerful way if you cannot afford to work with a brand expert, at least at this stage, what you can do. And I think maybe most of you have heard about ChatGPT, or there is also other platforms so using AI. And I want to give you a prompt and a way how you can create your branding by interacting with ChatGPT. So you open a ChatGPT, you can have like free account, so that means it won't cost you anything. And then you start typing and you say, okay, ChatGPT, please take now the role of being a brand expert. And I want to build my brand. So please give me 10 to 15 questions so you can choose. Ask me 10 to 15 questions that will help you to understand what is the brand I'm willing to build? What is my company willing to represent? What are the clients I want to reach out? Ask me all these questions. So when I give you the answer, you can give me a clear brand strategy about my target clients, about my communication strategy, even about colors to use, in what direction my logo could be and whatsoever. So that means you can just use ChatGPT as your brand expert, but you need to tell him or it, that it needs to take the role of a brand expert who needs to ask you the right questions. So by you giving the answer to this question, it can delivers you a tangible branding strategy that after that you can go and implement with different tools or platforms. So if it's about logos, there is a lot of AI tools that can create you logos by giving you the prompt. So you can even ask ChatGPT to give you the right prompt for building your logo that you can put into these tools, or you can go on Fiverr.com. There is a lot of really people offering their services for a reasonable price, and you can do this. Of course, it's not 100% the same as when you work with a creative brand expert, but if you don't have the financial capacity, that is something where you can start very good with. And then later, when you create your first products, when you start creating your first flow of income, then you can go and work with a company. So if you want to learn which is the company we are working with, so we definitely can recommend it. Drop us a comments, no commercial, but we are happy with the process. So that's why we'll be more than happy to share this with you. And thank you so much for joining, and we see us in next week.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks for watching. Click on one of the videos below and don't forget to like and subscribe.